Alright, I am back. Um, this is definitely dealing with the topic of allowing your loved one to cross over. I know sometimes it's hard to tell the loved one that you love that it's time for them to cross over. Um, I had a vision, I had a gift fulfilling, and I had a lot of gifts, and I seen spirits. So I kept seeing my dad multiple times in the dreams. My dad refused to leave. He wouldn't go because he was so worried about me and the family, really. But as I got closer to religion and relationship, I realized that I had to let go. My dad would always be in my heart, but I had to really let him know that it was time for him to cross over and that the family was going to be okay. Our brothers, my brothers and my mom, they really, 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 really were very in guilt. They were in suicidal thoughts. They were going through a lot of things to where, as I was doing these studies, I couldn't be around them. It wasn't no offense. It was just that in order for somebody to kind of go down there, they had to really be within non-top of guilt. They had to release. So God chose me to where when I was stretching, it's because I needed to make a choice. And first of all, I needed to let somebody that was in my heart, that I carried for a long time, go. My dad, he would play through the phones. He would play through the alarms. He would go in my dreams. He would come through all types of areas to where I'm like, what's going on? Every time I go to sleep, I saw my dad frequently. And he was giving me information that I needed to hear, but he wanted to stay here while he is actually not here physically, but his spirit. See, we don't realize our body and everything else won't go with us, but the soul will. So his soul was still planted here, and he was going through things. He was coming into things. He would come through birds. He would come through different things. Now, a lot of people will look at me like, you're crazy. But I knew I wasn't, because every time I go to sleep, I saw my dad. To the point where I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I decided to study on my own and kind of get this time where I isolate the whole world. Because if you want to get into this movement of key to success, you have to isolate some things for a while. So then when you get back into the world, you don't have all that stuff that you carried in the world on you. So what I'm saying is that I carried grief. I was grieving for so long. Bless you, baby. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the baby I'm babysitting right now. But I was grieving for so long to where my studies was I needed to find some way, how do I let go and allow God to guide me still. When I allowed him to do it, my main focus was to make sure my children were safe. I knew that my babies had to be safe. So I then planned and plotted on my writing. And what I plotted on my book was how to move on. Move on from grief does not necessarily have to be death, but it had to be old relationships. It had to be something that was holding me in guilt. So I worked on moving forward from being told I couldn't make it because I had the baby at a young age. A lot of people were wondering, man, where she was getting this. So I was plotting. I didn't have anything. I made free business cards. I did my blog. I just talked because God said if you needed and you had a message, this would be good therapy for you by just going now, telling the world what I did for you. So a lot of people would tell me that I didn't know what they were going through because we didn't have the same situation. Let me get my baby. She is spoiled. We didn't have the same situation. And because we didn't have our same situation, we still had to make sure that we make it in our life, no matter what. Because my thing is, you don't have to be in the same predicament as someone else to care. You don't have to go through death for someone to care. So, for me, I was always told that, a lot of people really cared about me. And they cared about me in levels where they wanted to make sure that I was okay, They were so scared for me. I was not who I was when you're experiencing a lot of changes. So I wasn't going through just death. My enemies was attacking me while I was at my grieving stage. The boat that I was on, I needed to get off that one because that was dangerous. Definitely dangerous. It was to the point where I'm like, okay, my enemy's attacking me. My dad's gone. And I was mad at God for a moment. Definitely angry with him. Real angry with him. Because I didn't know what to do. My dad being gone. The guilt, the depression, the loss. I didn't know. But I experienced my life of motivational speaking to myself because I knew I needed to go far in my life. Yes, baby? What piano? Anything that's not open, don't open it.
Anything is open.
Huh?
Anything is open.
Let me see. Hold on, guys. What are you talking about? You have plenty of toys to take and play with, but you're touching things that you're not supposed to touch. It's not as fun to me in here, but there's plenty of things to do. Okay, I'm back. So, long story short is crossing over, allowing your loved one to cross over is the key. Because I know that we will miss them, just like, somebody that's alive, and we don't allow them to kind of figure out what they want in their life. You can't control anybody's mind. You can only control yourself. So my thing is, if someone doesn't want to be in your life, let them go. And another thing is, with death, please allow your loved one to go. Because they're going to sit here and they're going to be worried about you. And, some people be like, man, this girl is so crazy. But no, I am not. Because God gave me the gift. He gave me a lot of gifts to where I can see, I'm very, very feeling, and I know when someone's not telling me the truth. So I'll be playing around with them like, okay, I know you lying. But then I love them enough to stay with them even during their wrong time. So I'm just here to tell you guys to continue to keep on watching those videos, and I'll give you more tips and more tips about how to move forward. This was not an overnight thing. I had a plan. I wrote it till I was encouraged to do a blog. And then after the blog, I said, let me do a YouTube. After YouTube, I actually found free business cards. After that, someone motivated me to be a babysitter, but also do my own little daycare center with them. And I called it Young Souls Organization We Care Center, because we really do care. And I had Let's Help Each Other page. I had my behavior class already done, but I just didn't have the license for it. So that's why now I'm going to be working on getting a lot of license so that it can be really legit. So I'm in the vision world right now. We're going to try to push this vision world into the real world soon. I'm definitely going to need to get my driver's license. That is my goal plan, because where I'm headed, I'm going to need something to ride on. And it can't be the bus. It can't be no Lyft. I'm going to have to be on my own vehicle. And so I'm definitely going to be going to driver's school. That is the goal plan for there. For real, for real. And then after that, I'm going to make sure I just keep on moving forward and possibly trying to get myself, if I have enough finance, trying to get myself back in college, because with all of this stuff, I'm going to need to learn more. And if not, I'm still doing my research without it, and it's been cool. But it's nothing like being around a group of people to learn together. Because after all, we're in the world and we need to help each other. And we need to know, if we know something, tell somebody, so that when they're in the ground and you know something, you should be able to tell them your story. And if you had a time to tell someone your story and you knew what you went through and you didn't take the time to tell them, God's angry with you, because you had a story to tell and you left that hidden. And you didn't tell his peoples to help him, to help them move on and tell him what he did for you. A lot of people get into this Christian thing and they don't tell people the real story. And that's why a lot of people don't like church. They're like, you're telling me to do this, but you're doing this. You're telling me to do this and you're doing this. Well, first of all, we're humans. Everybody's human. Before they got to pastor, evangelist, all that stuff, they all studied. You know what I'm saying? It's studying. It's really studying the brain. So you're a pastor. You're studying to be one. So before you got there, you were human. So a lot of people are getting this church thing so confused. We're human beings at the end of the day, and we all have a lifestyle. The lifestyle does not define who we are. And if you want change in your life, then work on changing and stop looking at the problem and come up with solutions. Go to people who dealt with the same situation, and not even that. There's people who didn't exactly deal with it, but they can help you move forward. They can give you something to feed your brain. I had a lot of people that were challenging. You weren't in my story. We're on different levels. But you're human. And you don't understand that. Just because we're not on the same level does not mean that we cannot make it together. And sometimes we think that we can't make it. When we can. We sincerely can. And that's what you need to learn in life. Is that we can make it. And we will. God's a good God. He's a great God at that. So guys, keep tuned, because that main goal about moving forward is coming to reality. So remember, tell your loved one you love them and you're really sincerely okay, and they can cross over, because they're not going to leave you nor forsake you. They're not going to leave you. But let them know it's time to go. I did it today because I started to think about it. And he started playing with the phone, you know what I'm saying? And he was messing with me. And I'm like, Dad, you got to go. So he's probably still going to be messing with me. But at least he knows that I'm ready to go on my boat. And hopefully, it's only so much that you can do with other people. You can't tell grown folks what to do. But if you go, eventually they'll go too. So have hope and have faith and have a great day.